Nah, I mean, everybody knows what happened, so that's why, like, right now we're live and we're gonna just wait for the chat to come in. We're all just here having a conversation until we get started. That way, at least when people start logging in, they're not, introduced to the same long, drawn out, awkward pause as we normally have.
Hey, allowed me to get the first like in. It's great.
Yeah, there you go. Boom.
There you go. We got 2 people.
Yeah.
See? So
there we go.
We're out there.
Oh, I gotta probably reset my chat over here too.
Huh?
Oh, I just said I gotta restart my chat over here too.
Restart your chat. You gotta restart everything. Boy, how
I gotta say the blue color is groovy.
Do you like that? I like it. I kind of like it.
Oh, you need a lava lamp in the background.
Ooh. Lava lamp.
Ooh,
that's a good idea.
Ooh,
that is good.
I love that.
There they are. We was wondering where the hell y'all went. We was sitting here, and all of a sudden, everybody in the chat just left. So we just sat here, and that's not true. We lost our internet momentarily. It happens down here, baby. What can I say? I am terribly sorry that we left y'all for a minute and so abruptly, and had to wait for the local internet gods to decide we could have it back. But we were just now talking about can't wait for Starlink and all that kind of stuff. See satellites in the sky, and that way maybe this wouldn't happen. Anyway, wasn't wasting time. I had time to raid my card from Mary and Bobby Packer up in Wisconsin, and that's $50 million a month in aid to food. Went out the window because the asshole Republicans up there. Kind of sucks. We're trying to do something about that. Like Bobby and Mary said, vote blue, baby. Every time you get a chance, vote blue. And those chances are coming up. So, anyway, where were we? We were with our group on Discord. David, you still there? I know you are.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sir. I am here.
Okay, I know you are. I knew you were.
You'll scare him.
I know. And Janelle, you still with us?
I'm still here.
Thank you, baby. And Tony?
I'm still here.
And TW?
We're here.
All the gang is here, so we are right back where we were. Now, what was we was talking about? Any of y'all remember what we was talking about?
I remember.
I don't even. But before we get started, let me thank Brassy
We were
Cat.
actually talking about rocks in the downtime, but yeah.
Yeah, rocks. Big rocks. Brassy Cat donated $10 and said, just another rainy day here in the past. The videos of your neighbors torque my ass, so here's another 5. They need to leave y'all alone. As a matter of fact, make it 5, make it 10, buy Jenny some treats for me. Thank you very much, Brassy Cat, and I will indeed do that. As a matter of fact, bring it up. I did buy her treats today because I had to go by the feed store. And I've been feeding her these.
I should go to your house.
Yeah, oh man. My donkey gets fed
I
well.
get treats.
She gets. Well, I bought another bag of treats because she'd been eating. I got a big sack last time, and I think she's kind of getting bored of them. Every morning when I walk out there.
Hey, I'd do anything for ginger snaps.
Man. Oh well, these aren't ginger snaps. I try to give her. These are horse treats, and they're supposed to be healthier for her. But today I picked up some different ones, and she ate them up. So she's good to go. She's a spoiled little brat. She gets treated very well around here. By most people around the neighborhood. We have people that come down.
I want to see the outtakes of her actually flipping you over.
Yeah, you ought to see the. Well,
She's gotten phones.
It's a dangerous game we play in the morning, man. She comes out there, and the first thing she wants to do is bury her nose right between my legs and nuzzle, and then she starts jerking her head. So we have to be very cautious with how we play there. But she is. She's a joy. She is. Anyway.
Well, I know how hard-headed pitties tend to be, too.
Man. Oh, that one. Oh, Lord. Don't even get me started on Vicky. She is such a... I'm wrapped around that little dog's finger. I'm goo-goo gaga.
I did some quick research while you were solving some problems there about Michael Wood.
Right?
He's running for Congress in Texas's 6th congressional district.
6th district.
Not a progressive. He's not a Democrat. Calls himself an anti-Trump Republican. So he's basically a neocon.
Yeah.
Better than a Trump Republican,
I'm
I guess.
better than them assholes,
yeah.
but you're still in that group over there. I'm sorry. You have to wonder where they're going to go with this shit. The Republican Party in general.
Well, looks like he's part of the group that's trying to pull him back, but who knows?
It seems like they're just kind of, I don't know. Like we were talking in the queue after. It looks like they're kind of like some of them are fading away.
It's eventually going to splinter. Well, it already has. But the degree to which Donnie becomes irrelevant is growing. Those that support him, like Matt Gaetz, like Jim Jordan, they're fading. They're either on fire or they're fading. One of the two.
Like I said in the queue, we were talking about that a little bit, and we were talking about that in the Blue Room. That he and Matt Gaetz actually have the same lawyer. We just found out.
That doesn't surprise me.
Really?
Yeah. So they're gonna have to do double duty. Okay, here's Trump, and then I gotta go. I'll be back. I gotta go. Get Matt Gaetz out of trouble.
Yeah.
What bothers me a little bit, John,
what
is what we see coming in to replace Trump in that group. We see Tucker Carlson just flat out embracing white supremacy. We see a blatant fascist like Tom Cotton and Josh Hawley.
Yes. That's who we're looking at. That's
what we're looking at. The next wave is smarter and
Nikki Haley backed off.
Oh, God, Nikki Haley.
I understand she made a U-turn. She was thinking about running 24. She made a U-turn. But, you're right. Tucker Carlson's got that in his brain that he could run for office. You think about that.
Yeah.
Now, wherever he would run, I'm sure would elect his ass in a minute. Whatever area he lives in.
Where is Maine Fox? New York, right?
I don't know where he's from.
I don't know where he works out of. He works out of a home studio.
Let me see here. I could find out. Is that right? He works out of a home? Let me see.
At least that's been what had been said.
Well, I mean, everybody was working out of their home
for the COVID. He's born. I mean, I hate to admit it, but he's a Californian by birth.
He's inherited to the Swanson food thing.
Yeah, he's
a rich kid from the word go.
Silver spoon kid.
And he is from San Francisco. Exactly. Go figure. Well, Tucker Carlson is from San Francisco. What the hell happened to him? Are you shitting me? He is the reason he's in the news here lately is because he doubled down on his little theory of replacement theory, that whites are being replaced by Democrats importing migrants into the country to dilute the. Are you shitting me? If that doesn't scream, I have a pointy hat in my closet, nothing does. He's got the whole outfit. You know he does.
Tucker Carlson, the last reported place when he sold his D.C. home is he bought property in Florida. There's a shocker.
Yeah. Well, that's
probably right next to somebody we know.
Yeah, probably pretty damn close. I just pulled up his Wikipedia. Born in 1969, conservative television host and political commentator. Are you shitting? He's a shit slinger. But I just seen a story about him.
Not very old shit slinger either.
No. But he caught the same firebrand that Rush Limbaugh had. He wants to have Rush Limbaugh's job, and there's always going to be that element out there. I was listening to John Boehner being interviewed today on CNN.
Well, that was a good interview.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I like how they keep needling about Ted Cruz. Yeah, you said fuck Ted Cruz. Yeah, that's what he said. But he pointed out the difficulties that he had in the House. That most of his representatives in the House, he could corral, he could control, we could march forward, do this, that, and the other. Of course, he's making himself sound good. He said, but there was about 20 or 30 Republican congressmen in there that wanted to do nothing but make noise, and he's talking about the Freedom Caucus, the teabaggers that came in. Those are the ones that came in and decided, well, the best strategy here is to scream about everything. And that's what they do. And Jim Jordan is really, really good at it. He takes off his jacket, rolls up them sleeves like he's just ready to.
It's what do you expect? He's wearing a jock strap. It's cutting off his circulation.
Yeah, he needs one around his mouth is what he needs. I really do hope that
pulling. That's what it is.
Comes back to haunt him up there in Ohio when he was a coach up there. Everybody knows he turned.
The surprising thing that when I heard that interview was the surprising thing I heard was when they were talking about he got off the Senate floor and got a knife held to his throat.
Yeah.
Oh, on Boehner's book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So said another congressman held a knife to his throat. So I guess things
I
get a
don't
little
know.
touchy in the House. You got somebody pulling a weapon on your ass, there's a problem.
Yeah.
I haven't
And then he said 25 years later he was the best man at his wedding.
Remember that time I held a knife to your throat? Oh, wasn't that great? Yeah, you just hear all the old stories. Isn't that wonderful? That's just some shit.
The Republicans seem to be so steeped in machismo, it really sometimes is hard to decide what their definition of masculinity is. It seems to be really warped.
Yeah, it's right out of the Proud Boys. That's what it is. They all want to be Proud Boys or something like that. It
doesn't surprise me the Proud Boys grew out of it. It doesn't surprise me at all.
No, because again, I always go back to it. Jared Kushner, when he said it's not about the issues with these people, it's the attitude. You don't need to sell them on legislation or how we're going to make the world better or build new bridges or anything like that. All you have to do is fill them up with hate, baby, and they're ready to go. They're all primed up for Q.
The old musical, The Music Man?
Yes.
About the con man that comes to town and convinces the people to be afraid of pool tables. And so, he's going to sell them on having a big marching band as the cure for it. It's an old grift. You sell it, you find out what they're afraid of, you stir that fear up, and then you sell them a basket of lies.
Yeah. You sell them the solution to their problem.
And all you have to do is find out what they're afraid of.
All they have to do is sign up for Trump University. They'll be rich overnight, baby.
Sure. Fear of economic failure.
Wine, steaks, and
airlines, casinos, you name it.
Well, he's only got one airline, so I really don't know if you can call it an airline.
It's not an airline. He's got one airplane, and it's sitting on the ramp somewhere missing a freaking engine. Yeah, they're robbing. It's a robbing plane now. It's just that they're to rob parts of it, but put on other airplanes because it ain't going nowhere. That's what they do.
Nope. Need to move it out to that scrap fleet out in the desert.
Yeah. He's not going to... what are we talking about? Shit. That Marjorie Taylor Greene and who was the other one? Somebody else.
Lauren Bobbitt.
They're making millions. They have made millions in the first quarter of this year in donations.
Yeah,
Marjorie Taylor Greene got $3 million.
Yeah, over $3 million. Boebert's over $2 million, if I remember correctly from reading.
Isn't that sad? She doesn't even qualify to be on the damn.
Yeah, it sucks when the shit hits the fan, ain't it?
Ain't it? Ain't it sad? But they still support them. That's my point. Is they're still making money. They're still getting donations. As batshit crazy as Marjorie Taylor Greene is, with the lasers from the sky and all this other bullshit QAnon crap. She's still getting donations. She still has support.
You've seen how the Republicans are, even after the uncovering of the whole scam of the check marks and getting monthly deductions taken out of for your donations, right. How they're still selling it. They're still calling people defectors if you uncheck this box.
If you uncheck that box, we'll have to report you to Donald Trump. Are you shitting me? Report away, sucker.
Yeah, what is he going to do? He's no longer president.
Oh, they're going to take you off the list, man. You won't be on the Donnie list there. Your free trip to Mar-a-Lago.
I'm scared.
Boy, howdy shit.
Yeah, let the Republicans fight amongst themselves.
I'm all for it. Let them hang themselves over there, just one right after another.
I've seen Donnie lately. He's going to be lucky to live to 2024. He does not look healthy.
Did you? I noticed that they're giving him awards now. They're making up awards
Gave him
and
a
giving it to
goddamn
him
bowl.
as the first annual some bullshit award. This is the first annual ever greatest Lord and Master ever in the world award, and they give it to him. They're making shit up to make him feel good.
Yep. Yeah. Like,
And he is grinning like a Cheshire cat, except in that bowl.
Boy,
the next you'll see is the Asshole of the Year award, and he'll take it.
He's got that ever since the day he was born. I think that title's long belonged to him. He's been that way all his life. And what is he going to do?
Well, what do you expect when you get a silver spoon shoved in your butt?
Yep. There you go. You know, and his kids are.
I do not know how I would have turned out if I had been able to buy my way out of all consequences.
Oh, I think my life would have been a little bit different, but better. I'm not sure. The price I paid when I was young, I think, taught me how to act when I was old. To have gotten away without consequences for my acts when I was young, I might have turned.
I would have much rather made my mistakes as a young man than have been making those mistakes at this age.
That's true. You know, we only get old and wise because we were young and stupid. You know, that's how you get to be old and wise. You live through all this shit, and we're lucky to have made it. That's the way I've always looked at it. Now I'm 68. Are you shitting me? I did not think I was going to make it. There's times in my life I thought, yep, this is it. Fuck it. Had a great time, but
you still got those ones that never grew up.
A few, and that's the problem.
Some of them are still stupid.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson's a perfect example of that.
A perfect example of that. But we see.
Jim Jordan's a good example of that. You definitely have Matt Gaetz as an example of that.
Matt Gaetz. I'm loving that story.
Yep.
I just want to see him arrested. I want to see the indictment, and I want to see him arrested.
May not be as soon as we want, but most people are looking at it now and saying it's inevitable.
It is.
Well, what was it? They said, well, oh my gosh, I don't know. You might look this up. I don't know if I'm misquoting, but they said that there is an investigation going on, and he could be losing his roles here pretty quick.
I don't know.
Well, Republicans are ready to sell him up the river. He's going to be their scapegoat.
Tell him he's king. So. Put a crown on his head, one of them paper crowns on his head. He'd believe it. You're king, Donnie. Boy, howdy shit. You know, it's so much. It's the enjoyment of making fun of the Republicans, of pointing out their disgusting hypocrisy and shit. But with what's happening now, I'm cranked up. That's how come I know that is going to fade away. The noise that was Trump, that was the Republican deplorables, it's going to fade away. It's going to dry up and drift off, and we're going to be cranking this baby. Come 2022, so. We have to crank this. Every congressional seat in this country is up for grabs, and it is going to be a hell of a fight.
I mean, we were talking one night in the Blue Room, and we were saying, yeah, watch Trump's thing come up here soon, right after, he finally, if he does get prosecuted and stuff, and it basically says, impeached twice, was 45 for 4 years, now imprisoned for embezzlement and trying to take over his country as a traitor. He'll be the first in all of those.
Yeah.
What I'm hoping to see us adopt is this attitude, especially as Blue Dots. What is the most important election of our life? The next one. Whatever the next one is, that's the most important election of your life.
It is true. That is true. It's always going to be that way. It's a generational fight. If you think this election's important, think about the one after that and the one after that. These things, they tend to fade into our lives during the midterms. But, man, I'm telling you, baby, we have to initiate change in this country. We see it all over the place. We see it in the news right now with so many young black men being killed at the hands of police and how they're treated. The young lieutenant out there getting pulled over, treated like shit. Treated like shit. Sprayed with pepper spray for no freaking reason other than contempt of cop. You pissed him off.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. That's all it takes.
You wanted to pull into a well-lighted area, so
you have a brand new truck and he can't afford it.
Yeah.
And you drove a little too far because you didn't want to pull over on a dark road where things could be done in
Which
the dark.
Which is what they tell you.
Look
for a well-lit location to pull off. They tell you that until you do it. And then
you know what broke my heart when I saw that video?
Huh.
He was begging for them to please take care of his dog, who would also gotten pepper sprayed.
Yes, he's worried about his dog in the back of the truck. That's some shit. I'm glad he got fired.
Yeah,
I'm glad he's getting sued.
Sure. Oh, yeah. And
there has to be a standard. And with the incident up there where Dante Wrights was shot, she's a 26-year veteran. She should know, if she has been through so much training, on what the difference is between that weapon and that taser. The safety itself is, I don't know, but I would assume it is different than a weapon.
They're not even close to each other. If you look at pictures of them, they're not even close to each other.
No.
She was so amped up. She was so worked up in fear that she didn't, I believe she didn't know what she was holding in her hands.
Yeah.
Because I've been worked up emotionally like that before. But it's not an excuse. You're supposed to be disciplined and taught to how to handle those situations, how to not accelerate them, but decelerate them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's another example of not taking the time to consider what was going on, because Dante was just going to try to drive away. You can't, use deadly force on somebody if they're trying to get away. That's not a reason to shoot somebody. Now, she says that she thought she had the taser in her hand, and the immediate thing says, oh, shit, I shot him or something. But it's negligent homicide is what it is. And that's probably, if there's going to be a charge, it's probably going to be negligent homicide, because she was negligent in her duties by reaching for her weapon when she should have been reaching for her taser. And with 26 years...
Well, and any police officer that's out on the streets that cannot tell the difference in their hands between their firearm and the taser,
well,
why are they
normally,
in that position? Why are they in that position?
as I understand it, they carry their weapon on their dominant side, which for me would be my right side, and your taser would be carried on your left side. That's the way that they're trained. So if you're reaching, you obviously know you're reaching to your right side, if that's indeed how they have it there in Minneapolis. It stands to reason you can't stack one on top of another, so they're probably on opposite sides. So...
And every police officer in the state of, around the country really, but definitely in the state of Minnesota, should be super aware what trial's going on, what it's for, who's on trial, and maybe check their behavior a bit.
Maybe so.
You think they'd be aware of that?
We all know that being an officer of the law is an inherently dangerous, job. There are incidences where officers are shot as they approach a vehicle.
Yes.
There are instances where they get run over by a car.
And John, I'd argue that 90% officers are good officers out there trying to do their best. Easily 90%.
But the problem is, along with so many other areas of our society, it's only until those good officers point out the bad ones, because they know within their own ranks who has an anger problem.
They know who
is it that's out there on the beat that gets up in somebody's face, that tells somebody when they're afraid, I'm afraid to get out of the car, and you respond with, well, you should be. Not exactly comforting words there.
You think that cop in Virginia, that was the first time he said, you're going to ride the lightning? That was the first time he used that phrase.
He enjoyed using that phrase. Yeah, that was his line. You're fixing to ride the lightning, boy. It's who he was. It's the old adage of absolute power corrupts absolutely. When an officer is out on the street, he is the law. There's nothing written on paper there. No lawyer going to save your ass. Nothing. He's the law, and whatever's going to happen is up to him. And we just, there has to be a deep discussion and training and stuff about this, because it's just inherent. They talk about, is it systemic racism? Yes, it's built into the system. I was a black dude in an SUV, black SUV, tinted windows. It's got to be danger. No, it's just a man in a black SUV. If it was Trump, you wouldn't approach the damn thing like that, or any other white individual riding in like that. You'd think, oh, well, he's affluent, got a nice vehicle here. If it's a black man driving it, well, that's suspicious. No, it's not. And that is what that's systemic racism is built into their training, into their thoughts.
I go a step further, John. I argue that systemic racism not only affects the minority communities, it affects all of us.
It affects all
of us.
us.
We live in a less comfortable, less happy, a more divided society as a result of the systemic racism. When if we would solve this, we would all benefit from solving it.
The total of society would benefit. The advances would be tremendous if we could get over it. But there's as I always say, where there's one cockroach, there's going to be another.
Like I say, it's 2021. It's enough,
I remember saying that, and we all remember saying, it's 2000. It's going to change, baby. Well, here it is 20 years later. Let me before we get too far, I'm going to catch up here. Diana Mallory, bequeather of the Gone, donated $5, said, I am getting impatient for the indictments. Take them all down. Indeed. When there's a charge that should be leveled, it should be leveled promptly. Tammy,
like I said, when we... Go ahead.
Okay, Tammy Ames, Nana Lovely, donated $2 and said, reports her Glock had no safety. Well, there you go. No safety. It's ready when you whoop it out. And Teresa Diggum, our artist, donated $6 and said he is nuts he believes his own lies, yet knows that he is screwed because of them. Yes, he knows he knows he lives by his lies. He believes them right up until the time he knows he's fixing to get in trouble for them. And Diana Mallory came back again and gave $5 more and said, elections come every year. Vote in all of them. Indeed. That's the name of the game. Vote in all of them. And, it is. It's our responsibility. It's our duty as a citizen. It really is. It sounds corny. It sounds cliche. But if we want a better society, then we're the ones that have to provide it.
John, this is a good time for a plug. Not only do we need to vote, we need to support those of us that choose to run, too.
That is true.
We have a blue dot in this family running.
We do indeed. Aaron Trumbley is running for town council up in Monroe, New York. New York?
Earth Mama,
yes.
If everybody doesn't
Earth
know
Mama,
that,
New York. In the chat in the blue room, indeed. We need to check with her. She's getting her Act Blue site set up. Yes, we need to get cranking with a lot of stuff. But if you want to get in contact with her, there's her Facebook page and her email address if you want to give her support. And we love to give support, so do that. And we're going to.
And if any of you out there choose to run, you let us know.
Yeah.
You let us know how we can support you.
Yeah, because that's what it takes. When you sit back and think about it, everybody that runs, it had to start somewhere. Who decided to stand up and go, hey, wait a minute, that didn't sound right. Oh Lord, let's get that real quick. Diana Mallory came back with another $5. Be careful, girl. And said, with all of the idiots with guns out there, it is no wonder cops are trigger happy. Hey, how could we solve that problem? Make the cops a whole lot less nervous if there were a whole lot fewer guns out there.
Like we were talking, they need to have their body cams completely put on, and if they disable them, they get thrown out of the force.
On all the time. If you work at a 7-Eleven, if you work in a little store, if you go to work, you're on camera. You're on camera the whole time. You go and break in the back room and eat your lunch, you're on camera. It's not anything different.
I used to work at a Blockbuster Video. When you were in the back room putting videos away, you were on camera.
Sure. You come around my house, you're on camera. Just thought I'd throw that in. Yeah. It's an accepted thing there, so why wouldn't it be acceptable anywhere else? Why wouldn't it be acceptable in a police officer?
I mean, basically, you come around like I said, I live in an RV. You come around my house, you're on camera.
There you go. You're on camera. Smile.
You want to be a bad neighbor and cuss at and rev your engine and spin out dirt in front of your neighbor's house? You're on camera.
You're on camera every time. It's been quiet the last 2 days. Well,
fingers crossed. Why didn't
We're
change
trying.
it?
We're trying. No. We're attempting. You know, we're
Maybe
not
we
the
don't
ones
wanna mention
provoking
that,
this shit anyway.
So we don't provoke it.
I don't. I'm not the one provoking it anyway. If they don't watch the show, they don't know what the hell I say anyway. So, quit watching the freaking show if it bothers you that much. If I'm that far up your ass, I'm sorry. You know. No, I'm not.
You're just trying to do your show. You're not trying to do anything else.
It's just getting petty. You know, come around here threatening now that they bought the property on the other side of me. You're sweet. I don't give a shit if you buy the damn lot or not. You know, I own this one, and that nothing.
They're gonna build a teepee?
I don't know. My wonder is where they got a bunch of money all of a sudden.
Stimulus money?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
He owns a business.
Stimulant?
Who knows? I'm going to try to find out though.
But there's a lot of people that hopefully, I put a thing in the Discord today that hopefully the veterans will be getting stimuli here soon.
You know, everybody should get stimulated. It's not over. You know, and when you look at the grand scheme of things, what you got, the 1,200 before, the 1,400, in the grand scheme of things, that was chump change compared to what was given to corporations. And we've already seen people that got PPP loans buying properties and cars and shit. You know, millionaires that got big loans that they don't have to pay back. What an easy game to be in, man.
Who was that? It was a football star. I
Yeah.
can't remember his name.
Yeah, some
Tom
guy.
Brady,
Yeah,
maybe?
something I've heard of him before. I don't know. You'd have to Google it. Find out what his name is. No,
It's Lady Brady?
There's a lady up in Houston. She got millions, and she went out and bought expensive properties and shit. Yeah, she's going to jail. Don't think that anytime there is a government program, there are not a shit ton
Bottom
feeders that are going to jump on it. They don't need the money. And to them, it's a racket. They can get in there and get it, and we've seen it all too many times. And that's how come it's so. That's how come it. You know, we all enjoyed getting stimulated. I enjoyed getting mine. Thank goodness. You know, I got me a new microphone stand here. You know, and new lights.
Got Mork some doggy treats.
There you go. Jenny got some new snacks today. It gives you a breath. It gives you that time, and you get a little something for yourself. But in the grand scheme of things, you're still poor, hungry, and needing a job. You're still working it every month, week by week, day by day. And that's the way it is. And we've seen this over the last few decades where it's primarily those that are very wealthy that, you know, seem to get wealthier with every legislation that's passed.
I said this one day. If the wealthy would donate, say they make $4 million a year. They donated $1 million of that. Every year, we wouldn't have homelessness. We'd have better schools. We'd have better infrastructure. We would have better everything. But no, it's like, you idiot down in Mar-a-Lago.
They're talking about the 28% tax.
Take it with you.
Are you shitting me? Let's leave the tax at 21%. But let's wipe out every damn thing in the tax laws that gives you every loophole and benefit and subsidy that there is. Let's do that. And they'll cry wolf. They'll cry that they're being torn apart. Are you shitting me? Look what we do to a major, when Amazon goes out to decide to build someplace, what happens? The state, the city that he's thinking about, they're offering, we're going to give you tax rebates. We're gonna not do this. You won't pay taxes for 20 years and all this shit.
We were talking.
That falls on the people.
David and I and everybody was talking. I think they're kind of like, we better not be bitching about that because, hey, we get a lot of kickbacks from there.
28% is not even what it was when Reagan was in office, and they're screaming like it's gonna destroy them. No, it won't. No, it won't. Raising the minimum wage will not do it either. You know, it's the mantra that they keep trying to convince you that if we do these things, everything's going to go to hell in a handbasket. No, it's not. Business will adjust. That's what they do.
What they really fear is loss of control.
Yeah.
They realize that if these people have a little more independence and a few more options, that they can't treat them as badly as they treat them before, or as they treat them right now.
Go look at the tax book, the tax laws in this country. Those aren't written for you. There might be
not even written by us.
Not even written by us. No, these are all laws and loopholes written.
That's why they're so effing confusing.
By lobbyists.
It's like, Jesus Christ.
By the lawyers that work for the corporations that benefit from those loopholes. They know precisely the language to use to let Bob over here with his multi-conglomerate corporation take all the tax cuts. As a matter of fact, we'll even get a subsidized from the government just to give you more money. It's bullshit. It's money. Well, wait a minute. Let me thank Bill for $5 he just donated. All chimpanzees need to be placed on a terrorist list. Donated, also known as Sir William. Yeah, really. I think so. Ones I know, anyway. What was I saying? Shit. Ain't that pitiful.
We ever talking about the tax codes?
Yeah, and I was going to say something really wise and wonderful. I wonder what that was. Huh.
Well, you'll think about it in a minute.
It'll come to me in a minute. But the tax base itself, with the programs that Joe Biden is trying to put forward now, nobody on the Republican side disagrees that we don't need to spend a whole lot of money on infrastructure. They just don't want the corporations to pay it. They want you to pay it. Your taxes. When the other guy was in there, the big tax cut of 2017, boy, howdy shit, they got all the money in the world. And that cost us trillions of dollars in lost revenue. And now Joe Biden wants to take it up to 28%. Kick it up, baby. Let's go to 35. Let's bring it back to where Reagan was. And let's do something in this country. But allowing this to continue, allowing corporations to be able to go down to the Caymans or something like that, offshore accounts, where they hide their money and they don't have to pay taxes on it. Don't you wish you could do that? Yeah, just tell your boss, I'll send my paycheck down here to the Cayman Islands. Yeah, I don't know, I got a little card I can use to buy everything, but I won't have to pay taxes on it because I'm in a tax. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. And most of those corporations that have businesses like that, it's just a post office box down there. So it's a racket. But we're the ones that pay for that shit. We pay for their infrastructure, their roads, their bridges, their ports, everything.
The scam of the LLC company.
Exactly.
Throw up a quick limited liability company and you can.
We ought to form one. The U.S. Citizens LLC. Yeah, so we don't have to pay taxes.
Blue Dot LLC.
Yeah, Blue Dot LLC. We're located in down in Cayman Islands. Yeah, post office box 7429618.5. Yeah, that's the ticket. It wouldn't work. We'd get busted. We'd get challenged because we don't have a bunch of millionaire lobbyists to go up there and write the law for us. That's what I mean. If we look at the grand scheme of things.
Well, like David and I said, it's a lot of these companies are turning around because they're like, hey, we're not going to bite the hand that feeds us.
They're starting to. I mean, it's a slow process, but some of them are starting to realize that. Henry Ford, for the bastard that Henry Ford was in many, many ways, he at least had the common sense enough to realize that he had to pay his workers a wage enough to buy his product.
A wage, yes.
A wage that they would be happy with, which makes a more productive worker, which makes his business better. That's what gets me so bad about the right to work bullshit. And it always sounds so right. Oh, right to work. I've got a right to work. Yeah, you got a right to work. We all got a right to work. Whether or not you got a right to get paid the right or be treated right, that's a different story. But they sell it as the right to work states and all this bullshit. And it is the unions that brought this middle class.
What I always loved is the right work to states. They'd always push the idea, you can go in and bargain for a high raise or anything on your own this way. You don't have to do it with everyone.
You don't need a union to do that. Go in there and ask your boss. Yeah, you get
What
fired.
happened to the people that went in? Yeah, you got fired.
You got fired.
That's exactly right.
We got somebody
you have the right to have
outside
no
take your
defense.
place in a heartbeat, buddy. Get out of here. Yeah, you don't have any power as an individual in a right to work state.
How much a raise do you want? I don't know.
If it's something, environmental, you could go to the EPA and report the company. If it's something racially motivated happened to you, you could go to the Equal Rights Commission. You could go to a lot of things. But because you're pissed off or your boss don't like you, oh well, that's just the way it goes.
What's the difference between filing an individual lawsuit against a big company versus a class action lawsuit?
Oh, big
okay,
difference.
sure, you can, as an individual, you could try to get more money, and you might not get it as a class action lawsuit. However, you have a much better chance of winning. The class action.
Yeah, power and
winning
numbers.
is the key, because the winning changes the.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the way, if you think about it, it's the way we have to look at voting, the same way. We have to get out and vote, baby. We're the union. We're the
we
one
have power as a group. We
do.
have power as a moving mass. We have all the power, to be honest, and they know it.
They do, but they count on the fact that there's a certain percentage of our population that aren't going to vote regardless of what. Not interested. Don't give a shit. I don't know what exact percentage of it, but it's not a low number.
No, it's like around 41%.
Yeah. These are people that just do not give a shit, and they're just going to live their life whatever way it is. But to those of us that notice, and more in the life of Dante Wright or George Floyd, and can recognize a need there, that we can drive down the highway and see people out there homeless and hungry, and we know we could do something about that. There are things in this country, in this world, that we can do. We just don't have our priorities right. We don't want to spend the money on the things that would make a difference for everybody. We're too busy trying to spend all our money on the few that live the good life. I don't understand really how we can move past that. Well, I do. Your vote. That's it. That's the key to everything, is the people that get out and vote. If you motivate the voter, look at 2018. The wave came up, baby, and it did again in 2020.
2020.
We rose that wave up, baby. 2022's got to be the same wave, baby. It's got to get bigger. It has to gain more money, and it does. With every passing tragedy, there is another group of people that are getting forced into paying attention to gun laws or to police training or whatever it is. You're put into a situation to where you know now. And when you know, what's that old saying? When you know better, you do better? We know better. So we need to do better. And it's as basic as that.
The people that would suppress their vote are not able to do it in a secret anymore. The people that are trying to make it so the few can rule the many can't do it in the shadows.
No.
We need to keep light on them. Light on them hurts them. The light on them erodes them.
Society itself is changing in a way that, as with George Floyd's case, with the videos that were taken by civilians, there's not a place in the world, there's a person walking around, there's a camera. Everybody's got a cell phone, everybody's got a camera. It's harder, it's like Bernadette said, the rise, there's not a rise in crimes against black men pulled over by the police. It's an increase in the reporting of it because there's cameras. There's people that are witness now. That's the reason the increase. They've always been high.
Well, look at. I mean, I still go back to Rodney King, way back when he started to have people carrying video cameras around. It's the only reason we knew that happened.
Yes. That's the only reason we knew the degree to which they beat him on the ground for no reason. You could tell in that video they were almost taking a game of it. And when you're forced to look at that, as we were forced to look at what happened with George Floyd, the impact that I know it made an impact on all y'all's life. It did mine. It did mine. Is you see it and you can't. What drove it into my mind was when I tried to hold up that light for the 8 minutes to pay tribute to him.
Your arm got tired.
My arm was killing me.
Started realizing how long 8 minutes is.
8 minutes is a long ass time. It forces us to look, to see that what everything is not right. You know, not every cop is a good cop. Not every doctor is a great doctor. We see lots of doctors who get in trouble for all sorts of shit. You know, it's that old thing of whatever society, our institutions, our police, our fire, everything reflects the community you live in. So whatever is in the community is in your fire department, in your police department, in your county tax office, or wherever. If there's racist assholes in the community, you bet your ass they're in there too. That's just the way it is. But again, we have to rely on those that recognize what they're taking an oath to when they become a police officer, what that means. And it means upholding the law, even if it means that when your buddy is breaking the law, when your partner is breaking the law, you need to do something. Because that's why all those other officers that were there are going to end up being charged and put on trial. Because they failed to do something. The one cop that was standing up there, Tao or whatever his name is, come on, man. You got a whole bunch of people standing right there telling you. He's not breathing anymore. Tell him to stop. That officer should have turned around and told Derek Chauvin out loud, get off of him. It is time to get off of him. He should have showed the leadership it takes to do that.
If he wouldn't have, he should have been tackled and brought to the ground and restrained.
Exactly.
Because he was committing a criminal activity.
You can't turn your back on a crime just because it's your buddy. That's what my congressman's doing. That's what the sedition thing. He doesn't want that. He don't want to turn his back on his buddies that committed the crimes on January 6th. You can't.
I sometimes wonder if they would realize how much support they would get from the community if they would step up and have done that. They would have been
it would be an extremely difficult thing for any person to do. And it's not like you got to go down to the Channel 6 News or whatever and proclaim it on the news. No, you should report that up the chain of command. I do not think Officer so-and-so over here is good for patrol because he's got a short fuse and he gets mad and he's very derogatory. And I don't want to work with him, and I don't think anybody else should, and our public should not be exposed to that. You get enough officers to complain about another officer, and it's going to have to force to do something because it's on the record. And if anything happens, oh, well, now you got the chief where he's been warned 500 times about this officer and ignored every one of them. Got a problem now. And it's going to come back and bite him on the ass. So we always say until we get the good cop that stands up and points out the bad cop, we're always going to have this. Because
and we as the people they're supposed to be protecting and serving need to demand that.
Exactly.
We just need to demand that.
Exactly. We should expect it of them. We expect those that take an oath in the military. There ain't a single guy that you hand a gun and say run that way that somebody's shooting at you is going to do that out of just if he could throw his gun down, turn around, and walk away. Well, things wouldn't go well. But he took an oath. So you have to do what you got to do. But what you do has got to be the right thing. You can't, in the military, you can't obey an illegal order. You have the right to turn down to deny an illegal order. If you're a police officer, you have the right. If your partner is committing a crime or going too far, or you can recognize that he's going too far, you should stand up.
You can subdue him.
Just pull him off the side. Partner, listen here. You can't be doing that shit. Calm down. Get a hold of it. I don't want to get my ass fired because of your shit.
Look at it on the other side of the spectrum. If you are hanging out with a friend who's committing a crime and you don't prevent them from doing it, you're going to be held guilty of being an accomplice,
and
accessory.
That's what happened in the George Floyd case. Derek Chauvin is the one that killed him, but the other ones, they assisted him. Now they're all going to try to argue the case that Chauvin was the lead officer. I can't do it. No, bullshit. Doesn't matter who they are. If it's the chief of freaking police, if you see him committing murder, you have an obligation to stop him. And those officers,
they all have the right and responsibility now, though, to give testimony against him if they really want to make it right after the fact, at least a little bit more right.
Yeah, because the acknowledgement has to be made. We should not have let that happen. There were 3 other officers there. That should not have. As a matter of fact, there were more. After everything got done, at some point, when the guy's no longer got a pulse, and you're still on him 3 minutes later, everybody's there an accomplice.
John, you watched the movie A Few Good Men, haven't you?
Actually, no. But I know the line.
But at the very end of the movie, when the 2 Marines are being escorted away and they've been found guilty,
Right.
and the one who's not quite as bright as the other one's trying to understand why, the one looks at him going, because it was our duty to protect the weaker guy. That was what we were supposed to have done.
What it is.
Good men.
It is what we're supposed to do. And now, even in the Derek Chauvin trial here, we're here. When you're in custody, you're in your care. You're in their custody, you're in their care. And they failed to do that. Who knows what the answer is? The answer is all of us.
We came from lands where they had said you were guilty until proven innocent. And you literally had to prove your innocence in England from being in prison. And we decided we wanted to be different than that we were going to be a country that assumed innocence, presumed innocence. And just like many ideals, we didn't start off equal for everybody.
Oh, no.
We had to work it later.
We're still
but
not
it's still there as part of our ideals that people are innocent until proven guilty. And we need to start treating anyone who hasn't been convicted of a crime, who's pulled over for any reason or confronting the law for any reason, as if they're innocent first.
Yeah. The presumption of innocence. That's what we're based on. Who knows? It's a deep set problem, but it's one. That's how come when somebody just mentioned a minute ago, every election is important every year. It's because it's our elections within our own city councils and districts that it affects the local life. The police chief up in Brooklyn. Where is that? Up there in Minnesota suburb, Brooklyn Heights or whatever it is, has resigned along with the officer. They know it's coming.
I have such mixed feelings about that. Must be nice to be able to walk away and resign.
Yeah,
and not be
I don't
dead.
think I don't think that's gonna. Yeah. You get the chance to resign. Dante Wright didn't have a chance to resign. Or to give up or anything. George Floyd didn't have that opportunity. It was taken from him. It just saddens your heart. The Aubrey case out in Georgia, we haven't even seen that come up yet. And that's another case caught on camera of an outright murder. Father and son just set out. We're gonna stop this guy. He's a bad guy. We're gonna shoot him. There's bad people in this country, man. Bad people. But anyway, that's our job to stop it. Tony, I can't wait to get out there and use this little thing.
Hope you have fun.
Oh, I am indeed. It is really going to be a little joy to use out on
I hope you have fun.
Out on the road. So.
Yeah, I just been sitting here listening to everybody, but the whole point is that back in my day when I was young, we didn't have cops pulling up on us, pulling guns right out as soon as they got out of the car. That mind frame is messed up. That's all it's to it.
Yeah.
Because even now, with people riding around with dark lenses, dark tinted windows, you can't tell if they're black or white in that car. You don't know who's in that car.
No, my truck has heavily tinted windows.
Yeah, it could be Britney Spears. You never know.
Yeah, you can't tell. And like when the lieutenant, pulled into the gas station, he did it so they know. And for that guy to pull their weapons out on that man for no reason, just for license plates, that's stupidity.
Okay. I understand
Complete stupidity.
I fully understand, Tony, when an officer gets out and he's got his hand on his gun. He's got his hand down there, just walking up. I understand that. If I was an officer of the law, I would. I'm not sure I'm going to need that gun, but my God, it could happen. So, and you see it in so many videos of an officer walking up, and he'll have his hand over there by that gun, but he's not pulling it. And again, like Tony said, this one in Virginia, there's no reason for that. There is absolutely. The guy pulled into a well-lit area. You can see him. You can see both his hands. Why you got a gun in his face?
Well, see, and that's supposed to be the police officer's training is to go, okay, well, he doesn't have a plate on his car. They need to start scanning the windows and looking for plates. Well, okay.
Right.
If there's no plates on the car, it's a traffic violation. Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm saying they need to scan the windows because, like, even with those tinted windows, you can't see when you put those license plates in those tinted windows because most of the dealerships do that nowadays because they rip them off of the back of the cars.
Yeah.
They
put them on the inside.
Put them in the back of the windows.
Which was hard to see, but still visible.
You're right.
But visible.
But my point being is even after that, when he's pulled into a well-lit area and he has stopped, and clearly you can see the lieutenant has his hands out there, saying, hey, what are y'all doing? And they have that weapon drawn on him, and they don't put it down. And he is talking calmly, professionally. Why am I being stopped? Why are you doing this? Why is that gun in my face?
Hands on the steering wheel or whatever, and
again, it's contempt of cop. It's not that the lieutenant broke the law.
Think about this.
Go ahead.
Think about this. When that cop told that lieutenant to get out of that truck, how can you get out of the truck when your hands is outside your window? Yeah. And you got a seatbelt on.
Seatbelt on. I got to reach down there.
Now, if that man had to reach down for that seatbelt, they would have shot him.
That because you're reaching, you could be reaching for a weapon. Exactly. So
that is total bullshit.
And as a matter of fact, the lieutenant even told the officer, "I'm afraid to get out of the truck." And what does the officer say? You should be. Really? You should be afraid to get out of the truck? I don't think so. He should not be afraid to get out of the truck. That's the whole freaking idea. It's the contempt of cop thing. You just pissed the cop off.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the whole violation of the law. And then when at the end of the video, you see the cop over there trying to negotiate somewhere, we'll let you go. But, hey, if you want to fight this, we'll take you into court and we'll file charges against you. Hey, it's all up to you. It ain't going to make a difference in my life. All that kind of bullshit because he's trying to backpedal because he knows that he fucked up. He knows this was a very bad stop, that everything that went on did not have to happen.
Yep.
So he's trying to backpedal.
It could have happened a hell of a lot differently.
But then he throws in, but it ain't going to make no difference in my life. Oh, yes, I believe it did, didn't it?
Yeah,
I believe it did. Your ass is fired and you're being sued. It did make a difference.
It might be if you get suspended or you get
and
fired.
And that's the lesson that other officers should take. Calm your shit down.
There should always, there should be consequences. It doesn't matter. Okay. Here in Colorado, if they shoot somebody, okay, they have to basically do an investigation. That person is on suspension until that investigation is done. And that's the way they've been doing that. Now, I don't know how they do it in different others, but that's what they do. Now, if they prove that he did wrong, that cop is fired.
Well,
done. And he has to take his suspension pay that they've been paying him while he's suspended, and he has to give that back to the city.
You know why this officer was fired, though? Because the video came out.
Well,
that's why.
That's why. Like we said, they need video cameras 24/7.
Yes, they do. But just because they have video cameras doesn't mean you're going to see them. That's what I mean. It is the attempt to conceal, in my opinion, evidence. Whether you're doing it, for whatever freaking reason you're doing it. If this happened back in December, and we're just finding out about it, and the reason we are really is because the lieutenant filed a lawsuit against the officer. That's why we found out about it. It became a news article. All of a sudden, the video comes out, and everybody sees it. But if that hadn't happened, We wouldn't know anything about it. None of us would. So.
Well, it's the same situation that you had up in Minnesota. They stopped a kid for a air freshener.
Yes.
On the mirror in the broad daylight. There's no reason to pull no gun out on that. And the point is the kid was out of the car, and the black cop was handcuffing him. The other cop shouldn't even approached him. Why did you whip your gun out? Now, if you're trained, you know the difference between a 9mm and a taser.
The handles are much
simple
different.
as that. I mean, I own guns, and like the chief said, we train you with your strong arm, and with your weak arm, we give you a taser. There was no reason to pull a gun out on a defenseless kid that didn't even threaten him. And if he had took off, they had his license plates and everything.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. I mean, they'll get him.
Right.
You know, it was for a minor offense, too.
You know.
It was a misdemeanor marijuana charge. Misdemeanor marijuana charge, I think.
Exactly.
And
he lost his life over that.
Lost his life over that. You know, it's you know, I don't know. You know, all of us sit here and we say the same thing. We try to come up with, and we know in our heads the right thing should be done to make this go away. Mm-hmm. That officers should do X, Y, Z. People should do this and that. But we just can't seem to get it together. But we have to. Our society depends on it. You know, if this continues, you know, I can't imagine what was going to happen in this country if Derek Chauvin gets acquitted. What's going to happen in this country?
I can tell you what.
It's going to be a riot.
It's going to.
Remember what happened in '91 when they acquitted the officers that beat Rodney King?
Yes, it's going to be the same thing. Because and you have to say justifiably so. If you cannot get a conviction, and remember, it only takes one person on that jury to go, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. That's it. That's it. So it's critical to our nation that this is done right, and I'm glad that it's being televised. I'm glad that all of us get to be jurors, that we have the opportunity to sit here and listen.
The basic way I feel, if you're a cop, you're a citizen or anything, and you do something wrong, hey, that's the reason we have these laws. You should be held and held accountable. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm a cop. Yeah, well, I had to shoot him because of this. Okay, well, yeah, you might have had to shoot him, but now we're going to investigate why you actually pulled your gun, and if you pulled it for the wrong reason, you're going down for murder one.
Yeah. You know, exactly. Nobody wants to take away recognize the responsibility that an officer sometimes has to make in split seconds.
Yeah, we understand that.
But
we
George Floyd
they
was not split seconds.
But
my mind just goes sometimes.
Maybe somebody, I don't know if any of y'all can answer a question. Do they have police academies anymore?
Yeah, they got them. Of course, now the way things are going, you'd think it was like from the movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I don't know
anymore. You think it was like the movie?
Well,
academies, academy for highway patrol, sheriff's academies.
Like I said, I mentioned the other night. I said, it doesn't seem like they're getting the cream of the crop or something. I said, I bet you it's just the, no offense, it's the guy basically going, hey, you know where the good donut place is? Yeah, okay, you're hired as a police officer.
And you got a lot of people going in for macho reasons. Well, I'm gonna, a lot of police going into law enforcement.
Right.
There are the vast majority go into it for the right reasons. Yeah, the vast majority 90%. Of officers go into it for the right reasons. There are going to be a certain percentage that are going to.
I mean, think about when you guys were kids. You looked up to the police. You looked up to the fire department. You looked up to all those. I want to do that. That would be cool. And then now you're like,
I want to be the good guy. Yeah, we all thought that.
Yeah,
exactly. We always wanted to be the good guy. But there is a certain population out there that likes to be the bad guy, because it's either profitable, their ego is stroked by it, society itself. How do how do you,
I mean, we see it on TV. We don't think it can happen, but
not all the
it's a corrupt. We see it on TV a lot, and we don't really react to it. But we see it, and it's basically corruption or something of that nature, or something that has happened that changes that cop's attitude and looking like, they can't do shit. They can't do anything to me.
Well, we got to get to a better place. It has to involve the training. That's what it has to involve, and the qualifications to become an officer, and the self-reporting of officers on other officers saying this guy just does not have the right attitude, does not have the right mentality to be an officer on the beat.
I'm not sure of the percentage, but it used to be like you'd have maybe 40 or 50 police cadets, and not even maybe 1% of that class would maybe make it as an officer.
Well, I remember just now up there in the Dante Wright shooting in Brooklyn, whatever it is, Brooklyn something, Brooklyn Heights, Brooklyn something, I can't remember. None of the officers on that police force for that community live in that community. None, not a single one. Nobody from the community actually is on the police department in that area. There's a problem.
And they've got to be, that's a big thing there, is getting police officers back as part of the community. Not only that, but a team of crisis intervention people that includes counselors, that includes psychologists, that includes people that can talk people down out of bad situations, not just draw the guns. We need to have teams of crisis response and members of those communities that know those communities.
Exactly.
Like back in the day, they used to walk their beat,
Well,
a big difference.
I try to always remind myself, because my father was a police officer on the sheriff's department down there in Louisiana. It's not only the car stop. It's not only that. It's not only the tickets. It's not only the high-speed chase. A lot of times, too much of a time, it's responding to a car accident out on a highway where he's got to deal with, he just sees 3 kids over here laying dead in the street.
Yeah.
There is so much that they have to deal with. And that's how come that psychological evaluation and training within the police department itself, it has to be so important. It has to be. Because not only when you come in, it's halfway through your shit, you have to be reviewed. Because eventually it takes a toll on you, and you might slip. And it's not like anything different. If you screw up in an air tower, you call they're going to lower your ass. You're not going to be calling jets out there on the deck anymore. You're going to be downstairs looking at the radar screen, giving advice to the guy upstairs.
There's an airplane. I don't see it. It's a fly. Okay, God damn it.
We see these violations of the officers. We just always have to remember that there are good officers. There are officers who put their lives on the line every day to help and do the right thing. Detectives that work years and years on cases and solve them. But we have to deal with what is obvious and in front of our face. And it's the systemic racism, the difference between me getting pulled over and my buddy Maestro getting pulled over. There's a difference there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what we have to solve. And it strikes right into the basic core of who we each are as a person, regardless whether you're an officer of the law or not. It depends on who you are. We always have to remember the words of Martin Luther King: judge a man by the content of his character. That's what we should always do. The content of the character, nothing else. Not your religion, not who you love, not what sex you are. Nothing. Just your content of your character. And that's what we should all do. Anyway, I see we got the names going by, so I guess we're going to wrap it up for the evening. I'm so sorry that we got mixed up early in the show. Wait, before we go, I see it over here. Teresa Diggum.
Made up for it.
Yeah, Teresa Diggum donated $5 and said, beyond training, there needs to be extreme vetting. Indeed. And continued vetting. All the way through. That's what I'm saying. You can't just, you're a cop now. No. You're going to have to be retrained. You're going to have to be recertified in so many things.
It's just like anything else. You have to recertify yourself every so many months.
Yeah, you can't fly as a pilot. You got to go recertify. You can move to another airplane. You got to recertify it all over again.
Yep.
I can never find my mail service.
It's like, I mean, you don't go from driving a car to driving a diesel. You got to be certified to do that.
So they say. Just jump in there and drive. What could go wrong? What's the worst that could happen? Yeah, famous last words. Anyway, again, I apologize for the earlier inconvenience.
Truck in the distance, you'll see it behind the 18-wheeler.
Yeah, that's how you fly an airplane. What does this do? Oh, okay. I got this. Yeah, that's it. Nothing. Get off the ground. It's getting back on the ground that's going to be a bitch. So getting up in the air is easy.
Oh, I can fly.
It's getting down that counts.
Yeah, can you land? No.
Yeah, that landing part, that's a little different than getting up in the air. You get enough airspeed under them wings, Hell, even if you don't put your flaps down, you'll rise. You'll get up. I mean, you can do it. You might only go 10 feet and all of a sudden smack into the ground, but hey, you flew.
But I guarantee you, when you're going down, you're going to. Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, let's not get in airplanes now. Anyway.
Let me tell you a joke before we get off, John.
All right, go ahead.
Let me tell you a joke. It'll make everybody laugh.
All right, here we go.
Speaking of what you just got through, we just got talking about training and stuff.
Right.
There was this guy, he decided he wanted to be a truck driver, okay? So he went to this company and told him, he said, I want to be a truck driver. The guy says, okay. He says, you got to take a written test, an oral test, and a driver's test.
Yeah.
He said, no problem.
Yeah.
So he gave the guy the written test. The guy took the test, and the trainer looked, and you asked outside. He said, we're going to do the driving test. He says, okay. He said, there's a cone down there and a cone here, and I want you to park this rig and trailer right between them and not even touch them. No problem. He gets in his truck, and he does that, right?
Right.
Trainer says, excellent. He says, now, if you pass this third test, I'll hire you. So he went back inside. He says, what's the third test? He says, oral test. He said, this is the situation you have. He said, you and a buddy, okay, are out west. You have a load of logs, and you're hauling upside this mountain.
Yep.
He says, yeah. He says, you're coming up the top of this mountain. He says, yeah. He says, and as you crest the top of that mountain, you look down, and there's a Greyhound bus stalled in the middle of the road, all the people out around it. He said, what you going to do? He said, I'm going to wake my buddy up.
What the fuck you going to wake him up for?
You're going to wake your buddy up? He said, I'm going to wake up and tell him we're going to really be in a bad fucking wreck.
You ain't never seen a wreck like we're fixing to be. Wake up, Bubba. Look at this shit. Look.
There you go.
There you go, baby. There you go. Wake up your buddy. Why? Because he ain't never seen some shit like we're fixing to be in. Yeah, Lord have mercy. Tony, I'm so thankful you were here tonight. Thank you so much for the gift of the mixer. That is really you're gonna see that in future. That's going to come in handy.
That actually brings bad memories back because I had a buddy that woke me up. Hey, dude, brace yourself. I'm like, what?
What do you mean, brace yourself?
Yeah, he's like, brace yourself. I looked over and
I'm already thinking about slapping you for whatever the fuck is fixing to happen. What the mean? Wake up. Hold on. Shit.
Damn, I would have rather stayed asleep, damn it. He goes,
take time to wake my ass. Do whatever you got to do to get us out of the shit we're in. How about that? Yeah. Don't wake my ass up. I don't want to know.
He looks at me, he goes, well, I wanted you to go through the same thing I'm going through.
I'm like, Tony, why wake me up? I don't want to see this shit. I don't want to. I was sleeping, Lord, and then all of a sudden I wasn't. Anyway,
what can I say?
Tony, thank you so much for that. It's going to come in handy. And thank you for being here tonight, brother. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm going to get me something to eat, guys.
Oh, man. You ain't ate? I had to sit there. I had to shove food in my mouth before we came on first. Hell, if I'd known the internet was going off, I could have ate later.
You're going to live back out.
Yeah. Anyway, never works out the way you plan to. David, thank you for being here, brother. We always enjoy your voice from California out there.
Always my pleasure.
I always wish the best for you, brother, every day. You're an inspiration to me and to my son, and we love you for that, brother.
Amen. You guys help sustain my soul. Thank you.
Outstanding. Anyway, Mutual Admiration Society. That's what we have here. Come join and be a member.
Mutual Admiration Society.
That's it. Phantom, you're always so quiet, dear, but I know you're there. Is that why you go by? Is that why you go by Phantom?
It works.
It works, doesn't it? Darling, thank you so much for being here, for being the friend that you are. I appreciate it. When I reached out to you with problems, you came through. You checked on who we needed to, and everything turned out well. Thank you for being there.
Which is good.
It's always good. That's what this family does, baby. We look out for each other. Anyway, thank you for being here. TW, again, always enjoy your voice. How's Mark? I assume he's fine. So I don't hear
He's actually asleep right on my foot right now, being
my
he got
Emma.
bored. I put a earphone in him, and he started listening for a while. You heard him bark when you guys were like, "God damn that Trump!"
He knows how to bark. Emma was up drinking water and walking around. So.
Oh well, that's a good thing.
Yes, that is a good thing. One day at a time, baby. That's what it is. But
as long as they're eating, they're still doing all right.
She's a tough old dog. She's tough. She's gonna hang this well. But anyway, I want to thank all y'all for coming by and visiting us tonight. All of you on YouTube, on Facebook, on Periscope. The time that you spend with us is so cherished, because time is precious, baby, and we're glad you got to spend it some with us. All right. Today's Tuesday, so tomorrow's Wednesday, so me and Clyde will be right here. I don't know. We'll try to get, we're going to see how things work out. Don't know. Going to try to get back in there in the shop if I can get this to work the right way, and it works. Hey, my phone. Yeah. I got things to check out. No telling where I'd be. No telling where I'm going to be.
John.
What?
John, you could you have that portable mic now. You can go anywhere. So you could be out in the, out on the front porch, or you could be out on the lake, or
go out in the kayak. No, let's don't do that. Everything dump in the water, and then I'm screwed. Anyway, we'll do something. We'll cook back here on Thursday for another Blue Dot family meeting. Until then, we're still in a pandemic, baby. If you've gotten your shot, thank goodness they put a hold on the J&J shot now. Don't know what's going to happen there.
It's causing blood clots.
Yeah, well, it's got.
To everybody out there, don't panic. It's like a 1 in a 100 million chance. They're just taking it back and taking a look at it. So let's not scare everybody who's got J&J.
Yeah.
It's just they're testing it to make sure it's okay.
Yeah. But don't let that be deterrent to you getting any of the other shots.
Go get your shot anyway.
Get your shot anyway, baby. But until then, and even after then, wear your mask, stay socially distanced, stay the hell away from nasty-ass people, and try to put a smile on your life, baby. It's the best way to get through any shit, is to think of something that at least makes your heart feel good, because it's the heart that matters. Anyway, I love y'all for being here. We'll see you again here on Thursday night. Y'all say goodnight to everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Let me,
Good night.
Good night, everybody, from here from hell. Anyway, that's what it is. I got to get used to this. I like it. Right now, I'm just stuck on red and blue because, well, let me see. There's yellow, and it kind of just looks like white. And there's purple. That looks kind of good. I don't know. I'm kind of a blue guy. I love y'all. Y'all take it easy, and we'll see y'all later.